And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Strategic Command World War I Cold Arms campaign as the Central Powers. And I, near the end of the last episode, made an oops. We got an artillery on the front lines. I feel like I'm about to lose one of my artillery pieces. Let's just say that. That's likely what's about to happen. I misidentified it as an infantry unit and sent it into the front lines so that we could have the infantry unit that it was. Swapping with upgrade. Yeah, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I think we're at the point where we're going to roll the turn and see if that mistake... Well, see that mistake come back to bite me in the butt. Because it almost certainly will. And then we will continue our attacks elsewhere. As we roll into February 26th. Or the 26th of February. Or finish up February 26th. So we're probably leaving February going to March of 1916. Loss of Ivograd reduces the Russian national morale. Chief of the General Staff, Erich von Falkenhayn. An Irishman called Sir Roger Casement is willing to take a large consignment of arms to Ireland to equip nationalist and Republican groups who are planning to rise against British rule there. He asks for 25 MPPs to fund this venture. It will be a risky mission, but if Casement manages to deliver these arms and the rising is successful, then it could prove to be an important blow against our main enemy. Would you authorize the payment to Sir Roger Casement? If you agree to deliver weapons to the Irish, then their rising will have a greater impact on the British national morale, as well as lead to greater damage to Dublin, thus reducing British income. Sir Roger Casement's ill-fated mission to deliver arms to the Irish rebels ended in failure when he was taken prisoner shortly after he landed in Ireland on April 16th. 1916. Casement had come to distrust the Germans and sought to dissuade the Irish Republicans from launching the Easter Rising, but he was caught before he could make contact with them, so the Rising went ahead regardless. Okay, we're gonna send it. UK raises more troops through conscription. More corps are marching. Constantinople. We had a detachment mobilize, okay. The U-32 hit by rough seas. Gaunt naval units north of Scotland blockade imports to Germany. And both locations, okay. Prince Undet gains his first kill over the Western Front. German forces surrender in Cameroon. German Socialist Party expels 18 MPs for voting against the war. Fighting breaks out when Pancho Villa raids U.S. territory. Kropotkin and other anarchists declare their support for the Entente. Germany develops aerial warfare at level 1. Logistics advance speeds up, cool. Germany develops production tech level 2. Industry tech level 2. Production tech speed advance, or progress on Ottomans leads to it hitting level 1. Rain in some places. Okay. Of course, because of the revolt in Arabia, we don't have 200-something MPP. We have like 181 as the Ottomans. It's raining. Although it's raining on their turn, it might not be raining on our turn. I'm looking at the rain and it's like, oh, this is gonna screw up all my attacks. They hit the mine, okay. Hit a different batch of mines. Oh, that destroyer's just having a bad day. That sub's having a bad day. Question of the day: will the bunker hold to German or to British attacks? Apparently they're attacking my infantry in preference over to the very exposed artillery. I think my artillery is going to survive. As outrageous as that sounds. Granted, we lost another infantry corps, and we're definitely losing territory. Price rise triggers a wave of strikes in Russia. We are raiding still 3 convoy lines. Entente naval units north of Scotland blockade imports to Germany. Russian national morale falls below 50%. That looked like some bad weather. Although we'll see if that's actually affecting our locations. Yeah, that's affecting our locations. Artillery spotted, although we won't be able to take advantage of that. New submarine. We'll put that in port so we can actually take advantage of it. Maritime bombers for Austria-Hungary. And we got some destroyers. Now we just need to find the sub. Kemal Pasha deploys. We got another detachment. Probably wants to get sent down there, yeah. Or actually, no, we want to probably backfill that spot. Okay. Okay. Well, we gotta take the Serbian capital at some point. Then the recon. Again, heavy shelling. before I forget, you have artillery weapons once that you're actually effective at destroying enemy entrenchment. See, 1 to 7. Yes, please. 1 to 4. Okay. Even though the weather is terrible, we're still making progress in the Russian front. And Russian morale is below 50%, so the Russians really can't accept us having a lot of progress. Okay, so the destroyer is still there. No, it isn't. Put the mines back. As that destroyer just proved on the last turn, those mines are very important for what they do. So the sub is up there. That means the sub is still outside of effective range for me to get it with destroyers. Nor are my destroyers all that, you know, good. Okay. You obviously need to do silent running. Hopefully you don't run into any destroyers. Ah, you hit a different destroyer. There's so many destroyers out here. I wonder why. Only we had torpedoes left. That would hurt them. We're really getting a 0 to 4. Take it then. Okay, you can. You know, we'll move so that we're not staying in the exact same spot in case they come and checking. Oh, you've got enough action points left you could dig it. That's why you're active. You're active because you can shoot people. You've got action points to move. Although I don't necessarily want to move you anywhere. We'll move you... No, we'll keep these guys unmoved so we can... If the Serbians don't advance on us. Granted, the Serbians have... like, 6% chance they don't surrender. So they're probably surrendering next turn. Oh, I can't resist 1 to 3. Western Front. Obviously I should get the artillery off the front lines. Can you dig a trench? Can you please dig a trench? Same here. Dig a trench. Uh, 2 to 5 is real tempting. Take the 2 to 5. Okay, because of the hidden artillery, it was actually like 2 to 3. Or 1 to 3, but... Oh no, 2 to 3. This is 2 to 3 with the artillery there. Oh, that reminds me. We got a railgun. That's usually what the railgun does every turn. Shoot something. Does absolutely no effect. And then you're just pointing your railgun. Okay, I think that's all we're gonna do on the Western Front. I could take the 2 to 3, but I'm gonna not do that. We took the Brest-Litovsk fort. I think that was this turn. If it is this turn, that'll be another national morale hit for the Russians. Giving up our trenches, but we can always dig in next turn. In fact, so this one can dig in this turn. This allows me to put a little more pressure on the Russians. I should grab those upgrades before we forget. We don't have the supply here, apparently. Okay, fall back to holding Baghdad then. So we're going to HQ on the way over. That'll help with the supply situation. And a lot of this is just stalling against this arguably superior British force. Until we can get reinforcements arriving. Because the supply situation is also pretty bad for them. So if they really take any damage up here, they'll have to actually literally pull back to the port to replace. Oh, we can upgrade you. Because we did the swap. I could swap back. But no. What I might do is we'll actually have this person swap with the detachment. But yeah, let's look at research, and then probably end the turn. So we just finished up industry tech, so there is some argument to grabbing the next one. Let's do that. It leaves us with 60. And then Germany has freed up 125. What did we complete? Well, 75 was from completing the production tech, so let's grab the last production check. That one was a 50. I think we finished aerial warfare, yeah. Okay. So it'll be something that pays off really late if we do it. Let's get started on armored warfare. We actually technically, I think, need Armor Warfare 2 before we can actually deploy any tanks, but that's one of the reasons it'll pay off really late. We spent for you. We got Artillery 1. Working on Infantry 2. Grab another Industry. And then from a diplomacy standpoint, can't do any investment here. We've already got one invested here, and we really want them in the war at this point. That way we can ship stuff to the Ottomans. So I'm going to invest another 50 in there, try to get the Bulgaria to actually join the war. I think we got some bad dice rolls, and that's delayed their entry by a lot. Okay, so with that, I think we stabilized the situation for the moment. Let's cycle the turn. The loss of Brest-Litovsk reduces Russian national morale. Serbia surrenders. Germany plunders just short of 300 MPP. Bulgaria prepares for war. Okay, so Bulgaria, I think, will come in on the next turn. So I probably overinvested at this point. Foreign Minister reports diplomatic success. Sweden towards the Central Power, 6%. Okay. Entente raiders disrupt Norway Germany convoy. We got spying intelligence 1 on the Ottomans. It's annoyingly going to be good weather for the people we're fighting. Some of the surviving Serbian troops coming back across the border. So I think those guys have high supply, but they don't have high, well, they don't have high strength anymore, at least. Okay, the interceptor's doing work. Mountain Corps. Okay. I really don't like those Parsons. Is there anyone in for book at this point? Yeah, we really need to get the last gen subs back to do their upgrades. Of course, that means at this point running the remainder of the British and French navies probably to get there, but you know. Russian national morale falls at the loss of Serbia. The loss of Serbia reduces French national morale. The fall of Serbia raises Austro-Hungarian national morale. Germany celebrates the defeat of Serbia. Bulgaria joins the Central Powers. Development of infrastructure between Petrograd and Murmansk nears completion. Irish Easter Rising against British rule, which does more national morale damage because we funded it. Conscripts leads to industrial unrest in Sheffield. And we managed to disrupt 4 convoy lines. Naval units north of Scotland are blockading us. Karl Liebknecht and Rosa Luxemburg make anti-war speeches at Berlin's May Day rally. Lenin calls on a socialist meeting in Switzerland to transform the war into class war. Guard Reserve Corps destroyed. And we did quite a bit of damage. 60, 70, maybe even 80. I'm not going to do the summing to figure out if it goes up to 80. MPP of damage destroyed to subs. Fall Serbia. That was a bunch of stuff. Aiding the Ottoman Empire. For as long as there is a clear route via Serbia and Bulgaria to Constantinople, we can send aid to our Ottoman ally to help them in the war against the Entente. To do this, click on the war maps. And we will be doing that. War maps. Convoy map. This is a Austria-Hungary to the Ottoman Empire one. And we're going to set this right to max. There's an armored cruiser in that port. Oh, and of course that means there's now no longer a particular trade route. Because that was the Serbian trade route trying to go through Greece. And it's kind of can't go through Greece if there's no Serbia for it to go to. Oh, 2 to 3 I'll take. Well, that was 4 we did. There's the artillery there, so that'll be that good. 4 to 2. 2 to 1. No, there's artillery, so that's probably an accurate prediction. Is... I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do the swap there. We'll find out. Oh, 1 to 3 is good. Two to 3 is almost good enough. We'll have artillery support for the taking of Albania on the next turn. Gonna get supply here, so we do some replacement. Slowly and steadily, putting pressure on them. And there's 3 Russian HQs down here. I'm not sure the Russians quite have their priorities right. But you know, they do them. definitely making progress over here. Probably do want to free up another one of the... Well, actually, that's probably what that guy's best for. Send that guy down here to hold the partisan location. And then we're going to do something similar with this guy. 8 MPP. Help with this Arabian-shaped problem. Again, obviously I need to fill that hole. Oh, everyone's taking damage today. You know, I wasn't expecting the trenches to be facing the right way. I'll just take those then. I think I need 2 to put the trench in. So these guys. Get your infantry weapon. So you should be able to take the trench. And that trench has just been facing the wrong way the entire time. We should fix that. We probably took it from the French and never fixed it. Okay. Slowly and steadily, we make progress on the Western Front. Upgrade you with advanced subs. You can see basically what advanced subs does. +1 naval, +1 carrier, +1 transport damage. I think it's an extra 10% disengage if you're being attacked. Okay. Found a battleship with a sub. Probably the best person to find it with. Oh, damage evaded. Nice. And seaplane carrier sent to the bottom. That's why we like good reconnaissance. Enemy contact. At least it was another sub. Okay. Hopefully the rating from this guy will attract the other sub hunters away, so the rest of the subs can sleep away. Slip away to do some damage someplace else, please. Okay, you need to come back for resupply. Of course, at this point, you can come back to the nice port there. Okay, so I think that's the naval warfare for the turn. On the Western Front. Yeah, you're allowed to move after shooting. Do you actually get upgraded? Yes. That might have been one of the reasons I was thinking the railgun sucks, because I've been forgetting to upgrade it. And that would do it. I don't remember upgrading in the last game that I played with them. Trade 2 to 2, but I don't think we need to trade 2 to 2 with the Russians yet. We're not at that point where we're wanting to literally run the Russians down, because the Russians are losing. Yeah, that's a place where we should be doing something. And yes, there is someone in Trubuk. Yep. Not a viable attack there. And we attacked here already. And we're almost to the point where we can get viable attacks. Because as much as the Ottomans are not having a great day, neither the Russians. For some reason. Seeing as their whole Poland is a different country at the moment, or under control of a different country at the moment. Oh, I could shell, but we should wait a turn for the shelling. Okay. Okay. Austria-Hungary, what do you want to spend your research on? Could pick up more gas shell. I should probably invest in command and control, really. And probably logistics. Can't do more industry tech. 3 is the max you can invest at any given time. Haven't invested in any production tech. Should probably grab some production tech for Ottomans. And we can't invest anything in Germany, but there be a Bulgaria now. So we'll get that replacement core we lost. Oh, we have 2 replacement cores to replace. Replace both of them. And then for Bulgaria, we're going to want their core. Give me full infantry weapons on them. We're going to want their artillery. Give me the artillery weapon upgraded on them. We're probably going to want the extra HQ. And we're probably rich enough we can take their fighter and the bomber as well. You want the detachments of the cavalry corps. You know what? Sure. So within 6 months, we will have drafted every possible soldier that we can get out of Bulgaria. So yeah, lots of Bulgarians going to be coming over the next couple episodes. What we'll probably do is we'll have some of the detachments hold the north in case we screw up and Romania comes in. At this point, I don't think Romania is going to enter the war, but if they did, we'll be prepared. Most of that force is going to get sent into Greece. We're going to probably try to bring down Albania and Greece really quickly. And then the moment those guys go, some of the forces will get pulled to go east to deal with Arabia and Cairo. Some of the forces, and in fact probably most of the artillery, is going to get shifted to either the western front, so we're going to shift the German artillery is going west. The Austrian artillery is going to get shifted to start attacking in Italy. And then we'll see what we do with the rest of the forces. You may notice I have acquired a Marine. I may be looking for an opportunity to inform southern Italy that we're going to come up the boot from the bottom while trying to come in the boot from the top. You don't need to make Italy surrender, but making Italy surrender does lower the national morale of the British and the French. And I think the Russians are still in the war. Although the Russians, by the time we're in Italy, the Russians might be on the way out. Either way. I suppose I'm not going to go ahead and cycle the turn here. We are going to end on the end of the turn instead of the beginning of the turn. But let's look at the state of the war. So, loss-wise, the Ottomans are actually got the least number of losses at 2%. 5% for Austria-Hungary, and 8% for Germany. So we're rocking 15% of all the losses in the game are on our side, and the rest are on the other side. Russia's got 44% of the losses. I think Russia, out of all the people who aren't surrendered yet, are probably going to be the people who are most likely to surrender. Here's the detailed losses. We've destroyed almost 40 infantry corps for Russia. We destroyed 8 of the cavalry corps. 4 detachments. They're one of the few factions that get garrisons. We destroyed 2 of the garrisons. 4 of their mountain corps. I don't think they get 4 mountain corps. I think we've destroyed them, they've rebuilt them, and we've destroyed them again. At least once. And are potentially on the way to doing it again with that one. We've got one of the pre-dreadnoughts from the Italians, the Russians, and the British. We sent an Italian armored cruiser to the bottom, a light cruiser, a destroyer, 2 destroyers for the French, 7 light cruisers for the British. The British apparently haven't been very careful with where they put those light cruisers. And we've sent one dreadnought, both for the Italians and the British to the bottom. And that, though, well, capital ship losses really hurt national morale-wise. I think that's one reason our national morale is doing so well, is we've been keeping the majority of the Navy alive. We did lose 1 light cruiser to the Ottomans. We lost a destroyer and an armored cruiser as the Austro-Hungarians. So, obviously our convoys, the only convoys that can get raided are the ones going to Germany. So we can see how effectively those raiders have been going. Most of it has been getting through. Although, this is also depends upon the month, right? Some of our convoys don't work during the winter. So that was the winter 14, early 15. This is the winter of 15, early 16. And of course, from a rating perspective, there's patches where they're actually somewhat decent in rating. This is, in theory, the effectiveness of our raiders. We've raided and done 300 something MPP of damage, 120 over here. Oh, and our surface fleet apparently did a bunch of work over here as well. So this would have been the rating of the Serbian lines with the surface fleet. Oh, apparently it was the French, sir, is raiding us. Well, that's a little early, I suppose. Must have been. Oh well, this is the rating we know. Right, so we know they did 177. Probably, yeah, this is the rating we know. So let's not look at that for the other team because we won't be able to see that really well. Most of the French stuff has been getting through. We've been doing damage to the British, although the British have been getting better and better at keeping the convoys from being raided. The Italians have been having a bad day. Although they're still getting 300. They still got 300 through. Serbia's gone. We didn't do a particularly good job at getting the Serbian ones. And then the Russian ones has been, well, it turns off every winter because the port freeze is over. Although I think they're in the process of finishing that repair, so they can go the other route, which won't freeze during the winter. And we've got like 20% of that. National morale 76%. So we haven't dealt the second troop morale hit to the British yet. We have to the French. They're down at 61%. The Italians are getting pretty close at 78. The Serbians are dead, so that's why they're showing at 100%. And surrendered forces, the exiled units. The units fighting from other countries of their faction still get 100% national morale. So it was actually buffed what survived of the Serbian forces. Russians down at 35%. Down goes the Russians. We're up at 124%, up at 106%. Only the Ottomans are having a bad day on our side, although they probably have suffered 2 of their national morale hits. That is the expenditures. Spent more than we've lost. Not spent more than we lost, although we're getting pretty close. Lost less than we've collected, so the choice there is maybe some of that might also be we've started to apply production tax and it's cheaper to replace. Collected more than we've lost, so okay, we haven't necessarily spent more to replace the units, but we're also applying more and more tech. And it's not the case they've lost more than they've spent and then they've earned. Not for the French. The French are doing probably okay at the moment. Italians are losing forces quicker than they're earning replacements. The Serbians by a lot. That's probably why the Serbians have completely collapsed at this point. And then the Russians are losing it quicker than they're earning it. And yeah, at this point, I think the Russians are going to be the first of the three that we need, or first of the 2 of 3 that we need to surrender. So we need to get 2 of Russia, France, and UK to surrender. I think Russia's going to be the first one to go, as can be believed by the fact they've got a national morale of 35%. So we're gonna defeat them by national morale. The French probably will be the other one we do. I don't think we're necessarily going to get the British down. Obviously, as you can see, the French are 16% lower than the British. Although when we get the French down, there's a good likelihood the British won't be far off. I believe both the British and the French, whichever one you surrender lowers the national morale of the other one. So if you were doing a West-first strategy instead of a Russia-first strategy, it is possible to get these 2 to surrender and just kind of stall against the Russians if you wanted to play that way. And that's maybe a way you play in multiplayer. Because all your... So for that's for the decisive victory. Decisive victory, you got 2 of the 3 to surrender. Your minor victory requires you to hold Verdun, which we've got. And I'm not going to click on it, but Paris. And your original capitals. So right now, we'd actually, if the game were to end today, in the game, we'd be in a stalemate. Because for them to win a minor victory, they need Verdun. They don't have Verdun. We have Verdun, but for us to win a minor victory, we need Verdun in Paris. So we don't get a minor victory either. And then for their decisive victory, they got to get Germany to surrender. Of course, losing Austria-Hungary lowers German morale. Losing the Ottoman Empire lowers German morale. So you probably want to keep them in the war. And this is where we're going to go ahead and end the stream. I see Twitch is saying, is there no way to show multiple nations graphs at once? Let's see. I think there's a tick box for relative value. I don't know a way offhand. Sorry, Twitch. And yeah, evening. Hope you've had a nice night. And if you haven't watched it, you can rewind and see some of the early bits of the stream. We're making progress. We got Serbia surrendered. We're gonna have supplies going through the Ottomans. As we free up troops, we may be sending troops down to the Ottomans. I would like to push through into Cairo, for example. Basically occupy Egypt. Liberate, well, let's say unliberate the Arabia, and put enough pressure here that at least this stops expanding. And then as the Russians wind down, there's a decent possibility Russia will surrender. Well, 35% is quite a bit. I've known in the past that I've been able to get actual breakdowns on what the national morale is. It might only show up when you've got a spying advantage, and not when you have the spying parity. Because we probably have spying parity right now, because I think the British start with 1 in spying and intelligence. Which is, I think, why we're probably not seeing a lot of British stuff on our spying. We're seeing things like the... As I'm thinking about it, maybe we didn't actually see any spy stuff this time, but yeah. And Twitch chat saying, no worries, just saw you were clicking on the graphs individually. Yeah. If someone knows a way to show more graphs than one at a time, let me know. I don't happen to know offhand. And then yeah, we can see all the research balances. We don't know what they were researching in, of course. America is in the game and is researching, but they're not. They haven't picked a side yet. And I don't think that they can't actually join the Central Powers. You can make them favor the Central Powers, which case I think they stopped trading with the British. But yeah, we haven't done any unrestricted naval warfare because we haven't needed it. So the Americans are pretty on the sidelines. They're not going to come popping in. We might end up with the Portugal in if the Allies keep pushing the way they are. Oh, and I suppose this is a good place to remind myself. We did complete a chit on Sweden. We put another one in there. A little bit more of a buffer before Sweden flips sides. But yeah, this is probably where we're going to go ahead and end the stream and the recording for today. If you're watching on YouTube, you can expect there to be a part up by at least tomorrow. There may be another part up today. It depends on how far I am recorded ahead and how many record next time. If during the next stream of this we record another 5 parts, I'll probably have a second part up today, so we don't get any farther. Well, so we get minimally far ahead. But yeah, so I think this run is going well. We've got one of the majors surrendered, although Serbia is the smallest of the majors, and not one of the ones we need to get surrender for victory. And yeah. Oh, before I forget, I should bring up the schedule, so I can tell Twitch what's coming up over the next couple days. So tomorrow will be the continuation of Shadow Empire. Friday will be probably the final stream of .age. I know, or the final of that run. I know it was basically going to be a 2-stream run at the current rate, but I think that's fine. Do a 2-stream run of that. Saturday will be a continuation of Xenonauts, and then I need to update the schedule, but Sunday will be the next stream of this. Strategic Command World at War 1 Cold Arms. We'll see probably if we can get it in the next stream, if we can get the Russians to surrender. I think all the big national morale hits we can get on the Russians are behind us. I think all the major cities close by are all like 1,000 national morale effect. I forget exactly how much the Russians have total national morale. So I don't know how much national morale 3,500 or no, I don't know what 35% is. Don't know what 35% of the national morale is offhand. But yep, moving on. So with that, I'm gonna head and wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next one. And if you're watching on Twitch and you want to comment, respond to, feel free to put it in the chat. I'll try to respond to it now. Or if you want to see any of the graphs in specific. If you're watching on YouTube, same thing. And with that, bye for now.